Welcome again to the channel. This is Eric Ganabakweku. And my second video for today, I talk about something that, it's like the Band-Aid was ripped off, a wound that I had because I've experienced this before. And that is talking about cable theft. As most of you know, people who've watched my channel already know that, my cable, electrical wires were stolen, at some point in my building process. And the video is linked up here so you can take a look at it if you haven't watched it. But one of the, clients of Bill Connor Solutions, one, that we're helping work on securing some things from China, basically told us how, day before yesterday, his electrical wires got stolen, upwards of $5,000 US. And that prompted me to basically revisit this issue. Since my incident, there have been some other YouTube content creators who are also building, who have been victims to this as well. And it seems like it's not going anywhere. And regardless of what attempts people use to try to prevent this, it's not happening. And, it almost feels like when it comes to security, there's really not one, fast, set rule that you can apply to prevent these issues from happening. So I decided to, think about this some more and say, what would I do if I had the opportunity to, take a second, attempt at doing electricals, and maybe, prevent what happened on my side from happening. Like I say all the time, no security apparatus is 100% foolproof. But I believe if you do the best you can to, tackle this, using some of these, it might help. A few things that I think about. I think the best, and our project is basically testament to that. If you have someone who you trust on the site at all times, it really helps, mitigate, or maybe if not eliminate totally, it helps reduce chances of someone trying to, step into the space and do something that will, end up in, building material theft. So the first thing that I'll say is, if you are doing any project, it doesn't have to really be, necessarily in a building project, it doesn't have to be the electrical phase only. I know that is the most expensive, phase and the most annoying part, especially if you've done screeding, which was the case of, our client. He's already done screeding, so which means that they probably would have to, crack some of the screed just to get to the wires that were affected, right? But I believe human presence is always important. If you have someone that you trust on the site pretty much all the time, you end up reducing the chances of someone, feeling comfortable enough to be on the premise for a long stretch to steal, right? Because you need time to steal, unless someone is nicking, maybe a bag of cement, that's different. But to steal something like electrical wires, it needs dedicated time, right? A long span of time. And if you have someone's presence on the site, it really helps reduce that. So that's the first one, human presence. Talking about human presence, another thing that I did with my project was when we did the second part of when we did, after the electricals were stolen, when we did the second rewiring, what we did was to have the electrician wire the upstairs, and when he left upstairs, we had the POP work start upstairs, right? So we could conceal the wires as, the work was being done. That also added to the human presence, because the guys who did the POP stayed on site until it was done, right? Which was, probably like a month and a half they lived on the property while their work was being done. So they'll work till late and start early, right? And that human presence on the site alone is a deterrent for thieves, right? So that is one, the human presence. Also, another thing that you can do is have video surveillance, right? These days, we know there is, you don't have to finish your project before you can add surveillance to the project. Technology has made it so you can have wireless, CCTV cameras, solar-powered CCTV cameras, as long as they're placed in the right place to receive sun, throughout the day. Then they can work throughout the night as well. If you have them placed in, like really strategic points, that serves as a deterrent as well, right? So human presence, CCTV cameras, and then another one that is really, really important that if you can do, regardless of the stage of the project you're at, ideally should be in the beginning, is having solar-powered lights, right, on the premises. From jump, right? You don't need a fence wall for that. You can basically just mount, beams, right? Wood beams or poles in the four corners of your property, and attach, a solar light to each of them, right? High enough so that it's away from human interference without actually like maybe climbing the pole, and then once you have those, maybe the four corners, it'll light up the place enough that it'll ward off thieves, right? Because how do thieves operate? They operate at night under the cover of darkness. So if you have the place illuminated properly, that will help you mitigate some of these problems. One last one that I've heard about, is the fact that you can use an alternative type of wiring. What the thieves like in the wire is the copper, right? They don't care for the wire, the sheet, the plastic sheeting around it. They don't care for that. It's the copper core. That's what they care about. So what they do is they strip out these wires, they burn the plastic part, and then what is left is the copper. And that is what they sell, for money. And it's not a whole lot of money, if you ask me, but they don't care. They just need some money, right? They don't care that you paid $5,000 for it. Even if they're going to get only 1,000 Ghana cedis, that's all they care about, right? But alternative to that is to use aluminum wires. And you can do the research on it if you want to, but I can say this, in our spaces, those are not really common. They are cheaper than copper, so that's an alternative that you can use. But then, the thief who is coming to come and steal them doesn't really know if it's copper or aluminum. All they want to do is steal. So how about you prevent, you take the preventative measures like having the place illuminated properly, having solar CCTV cameras in place, having a human being on the premise at the same time, at all times, right? In my case, I had 2 caretakers, and this is the reason why I say it is not 100% foolproof. No security measure is, unless it is used properly, all right? I had 2 people on site, and the plan was, or the expectation was, at every single instant, right, normally on the weekends, only one person could leave to go visit family or whatnot, right? But when my things got stolen, right, when my wires got stripped, both of them were gone, right? That's what I found out. Both of them were gone, which made me believe, or makes me believe, it was an insider job. I didn't, I started probing and all of that. I didn't get to the bottom of it. Everyone was like saying, I didn't know. So I fired both of them, right? I fired both of them as employees, and also they couldn't live on the site anymore. They were not going to do any work for me going forward, right? So these are, some tips that I have. Use them as you may. If you have any other ideas to give people who are coming behind us, if you've done it before, and or maybe you are even someone who fell prey to some of this, add comments in the comment section below, so someone else who's watching the video and reading the comments might have some tips that maybe I hadn't added in this video, right? Let's help each other in this building process. Hopefully this video helps someone from suffering the fate that I did, and our client is just going through right now. You know who you are, and like I said to you yesterday, I'm really sorry you're going through this. Like you said, karma is, it's coming. It's unfortunate that it has to happen to you, but I know you'll bounce back from this. You'll finish your project, right? I believe that. All right. Thank you again for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, toggle all post notifications. So when we post new content, you'll be one of the first to be notified. Thank you again for your love, and we'll talk again later. Bye-bye.